Can drug rehab affect a jail sentence? Yes, it can. Most courts would be impressed by the fact that if a person took the liberty to go on their own to attend a rehab and have a letter of success, it is gold. The courts really like this because the person was proactive at doing this, and so I've learned from my own experience, because I had been charged and arrested and did some jail time, that being proactive, doing things on my own before I was sentenced, spoke volumes and helped reduce my jail time. So most judges would give you 1-to-1. So for the 6 months I did in rehab, it would have reduced 6 months off my sentence. It didn't work out that way in my case, but that's the general rule of thumb. Outpatient rehab certainly help as well, but the key thing is getting that letter, being successful, doing all the right things, what they expect of you, and if you do well in rehab, you will get that letter, and that letter is gold as well to the courts. Going to 12-step meetings, keeping track of all the meetings you've been to on like an Excel spreadsheet. That's another great way to keep track. Have somebody sign it from the meeting you're at, and this can also reduce your jail time. Another thing that I did was speak out in the media about my story. It was already out in the media anyway because I was a physician that was addicted to fentanyl and Percocet, and was arrested for the crimes that I did to feed my habit. It was never for financial gain, but regardless, this made big news. The words doctor trafficking in fentanyl. So in my particular situation, I went to rehab for 6 weeks. I relapsed after that. Then I was arrested, went to jail for 18 days, and after that I went back to rehab. That was at the request of my lawyers, and plus I needed to. I was not feeling well. I was still quite sick at that point. And I went back into a rehab for 4 weeks, and then followed that up with another rehab for 4 months. I got good letters of recommendation from these rehabs, and it spoke volumes at my sentencing hearing. Speaking out in the media came also into my pre-sentence report. The parole officer who generated that report, went through all of my social media appearances, whether it was online or in print media or on television or radio, and all of that activity helps. Really, this falls under the 12th step of a 12-step program, which says once you're feeling better and you've gone through it and you've gained some strength and health, to try to help other people. That's a part of it. It helps both me to help others. It obviously helps others when I'm there for them. But it helps bring me back into a sense of community, that I'm doing some sort of voluntary, good community work. And that, again, will speak volumes at a sentencing hearing. So to summarize it, yes, going to rehab will help a jail sentence, help mitigate it, reduce it, possibly even eliminate it altogether. In my opinion, jail is not the place to send people who are in recovery. It's to a rehab. So some people are fortunate enough to go to a drug treatment court, there where they are given an option of doing their custodial sentence in jail or prison, or they engage in a urine monitoring agreement and attend a rehab, and that is a much better way to do it. Finally, in my situation, because of the charges that they were fentanyl trafficking charges, and many of them, it was too serious. The drug court, I was not given that option, and unfortunately I had to go, when I was incarcerated, I did go to prison. I don't think this helped my recovery whatsoever. There was drugs everywhere, but fortunately I did not use. I attended 12-step meetings when I was in there, and I was old enough that I didn't succumb to the subculture there, and I ended up a stronger person in the end. But I can see how with a younger person who didn't have as much sobriety under their belt, like I had 2 years, someone who doesn't have as much sobriety leaves them very prone for relapse when they're in jail, because there's no question there are drugs available in jails and prisons. So if there's an opportunity to get to a rehab instead of jail, take it. It's much better. There's no question about that.
We've helped over 1 million Americans completely recover from substance abuse. Call now at 1-800-615-1067. Call now.